How you going? Taking a look at something we should have looked at a long time ago. This has been suggested many times over the years. This is something called ranking the weird Aussie animals in my yard. Now, this is obviously from an Australian, I'm imagining. And it sounds pretty fascinating because, well, we've seen a lot of interesting and weird Aussie animals. I can only imagine what can be found just in a residential yard. It's from a big channel called I Did a Thing. Huge channel that I'm going to have to certainly catch up on. So be linked down below. Make sure to check them out. Let's get into this.
How you going? Now, based off your comments, I've learned that a lot of you watching live in depressing countries completely void of any animal life, besides maybe the occasional subway rat, dead pigeon, and if you're really lucky, monkey freaking out on bath salts. And because of this, a lot of you now have an obsession, almost fetish.
We have a little more than that around me, but I guess for the most part, he's kind of correct. At least what you would see most often.
With Australia's animals and their beauty.
Как красиво. Здесь больше цвета, чем в бензиновой луже.
And I'm aware of this, so during my videos, I do try to show off the beautiful guys in my backyard. Wow.
Ух ты, у него цветные птицы.
Yeah, the birds in Australia are definitely next level. Definitely. And the fact that you could see this in your backyard, like he's not at a, special animal sanctuary. He's literally in his yard. Yeah, that sets the tone, doesn't it?
Wow, птицы такого же цвета, как мех в животе.
But I've now realized this isn't fair to the ugly animals in my yard. So today, I'm going to share the top 10 weird animals in my yard that you probably haven't heard of and are kind of ugly.
All right. I have a feeling this should be interesting.
Now, the first
bush
animal
turkey
on this list is the Aussie bush turkey.
I'll have to put, perhaps I can put video or pictures from my phone. Now, this is different, so I'm gonna watch and learn. But we do have, well, next to one of my family members' house, we have tons of turkeys. I'm talking 30 turkeys in the yard at a time. It's pretty cool to see, and it's almost every day.
Bush turkeys are known to be
These are pretty
incredibly
small.
dumb and greedy animals that will do anything in order to impress a mate.
What I meant to say is Lord's Mobile is number one on this
Got
list.
me.
And I
Description below. Oh, and the sponsored segment is over. And number 9 on my list is the butcherbird. This guy. Butcherbirds are a very shy, small songbird related to the Aussie magpie. They are territorial birds that have a beautiful territorial song which can be sung by one individual but often involve members of the whole gang. The individual members
They sound awesome. Do these behave like magpies certain times of year?
each have a different section to sing, and if one of them stuffs up, they get evicted from the show. I'm lucky enough to hear all of them rehearsing this song right outside my bedroom window at 6 a.m. in the morning when I've had too much to drink. Also, just like the Aussie magpies, they're kind of dickheads and enjoy swooping people, which
they
I
do.
actually really respect. But they get even more sadistic than the magpies. The butcherbird gets its name from its terrifying way of feeding, which strikes fear into the heart of every other bird.
What?
The butcherbird loves nothing more than eating babies, which they get fresh from the nest of other birds.
It's totally, that's a baby bird.
Damn,
It's totally
that's
eating a bird.
crazy.
That is terrifying.
That is messed up.
And after shoplifting a baby, the butcherbird will impale its victim onto a sharp stick and then slowly use the hook on the end of their beak to rip apart the prey, making it easier to eat, in exactly the same way as my local butcher.
Hey mate, how you going? What can I eat for you?
What have you got today?
What have I got? We got lamb, we got
yeah.
sausages, we got it all.
And he recently lost his butcher's license for his methods, and he wasn't even serving babies, which doesn't seem fair. Alright, for the next animal, I'm gonna have to turn out the lights.
Hey!
Ringtail possums. Just like opossums, but without the O.
Yeah, opossums, unfortunately, we have those in my yard. I feel like I might have to do this kind of video on my property. Pretty crazy stuff. opossums, unfortunately, are not cute here in the States. They're they're kind of terrifying.
Possums used to be killed for fur in Australia, and with 23 different species ranging in all different sizes,
Yeah, these are cute.
styles and colours, they are perfect for making clothes for the whole family. I have 2 species in my yard, the ringtail possum and the brushtail possum, both named after the accessories they were historically turned into. These possums are most active at night, where they will walk around strutting their stuff on top of fences, electrical wires, and anything else they can walk along. And even though you always see them balancing on top of things, they never look happy up there and always look like they want to come down. And
You know, he does. He kind of looks like really concerned. Kind of like he's over this, right? Look at this little grip, though. Oh, cute.
possums may seem pretty cute to you, but they are hated by most Australians. You kind of love them until you get to know them when they move uninvited into your house, where they will then set up in your roof space directly above your bed and will then force you to listen to them peeing, rooting, and eating their own fecal pellets. And then, if you
Yeah, not so cute at that point, are they?
ever have the misfortune of coming into contact with one at night, you will experience their advanced defense mechanism, where they will suddenly freeze up and look you dead in the eyes. And before you know it, you're non-consensually engaging in the world's longest staring competition with a marsupial.
That'd be interesting.
Until one of you, usually me, feels too awkward to continue and you leave them alone. Fortunately, possums haven't been able to set up in my roof as it's already occupied.
What?
So they've set up their nest in these birds of paradise plants, which I too often accidentally disturb.
Never seen that before.
So cute.
Wow, they are.
We should reenact the Vietnam War more often.
Ringtail possums usually house their babies in a nest made out of leaves and twigs, which is a similar size and shape to a soccer ball, which is usually made by the dad possum. The male ringtail possum
Look
is
at
the
that.
only possum in the world known
You know, this is the part of nature, of animals, right? That is just absolutely beyond fascinating. How we actually have, you know, builders and to an extent, basically engineers out in the wild.
to look after and raise his kids, which is much better than most other mammals, including my dad. But I'm a grown man now, and I don't let that kind of stuff get to me. I have nothing
You know,
but
is that really what it is? Or is this a freaking soccer ball covered in this shit?
admiration and respect when I see good parenting and a caring family.
Because now I'm not so sure. Either way, my point still stands.
This is probably the strangest animal in my yard, as I have no idea how it got here. I didn't put it here, and my pond definitely hasn't been around long enough for the fish to evolve. So either it was hitchhiking on one of these prawns, or God is real. And I can't really tell what fish it is. Most likely a minnow, I think. A lonely, lonely minnow. Just chilling in the pond, all by himself, fighting off tadpoles, lizards, and cats.
Yes.
Look at that little guy.
Why did I leave you all by yourself for so long? Alright, let's go take you down to the creek.
Nice going.
Well,
Making nets and webs is pretty intense and a frustrating job.
Next.
First, you need to pull a ridiculous amount of silk out of your ass, then find the appropriate place to anchor the web to, and then you need to wait patiently for the bugs to come to you. So, one entrepreneurial spider.
Yeah, we had to know there's be a spider on this list, right? You have to know that when it comes to an Aussie list. Thankfully, though, I will say it's not one of the huge, dinner plate spiders. So honestly, when we're dealing with those in the country, anything normal size, let's say, all of a sudden doesn't seem so gross and scary. So You know what? These don't bother me at all.
Decided to skip the middleman and just make a web that it can bring to the bugs. The net throwing spider is a very common spider in my yard that I usually find under this wheelbarrow, on the bushes, on this window, or on my leg.
Oh, wow, that sucks.
This guy is around 4 to 5 centimeters long.
Yes, I'm brushing
eyes
my
that
legs right now.
Must weigh more
You
than
have
his
to.
whole body. This guy's method of catching prey is actually truly awesome. At night, they make a rectangular net between their front 2 legs, which they then poop on.
That thing is pretty crazy. A little bigger than I thought. Maybe I was looking at a different spider at first, but it's still not crazy like we have seen out of Australia. This thing is, I kind of agree, this thing actually does look kind of fascinating.
To serve as aiming spots. And it's debatable whether they do this on purpose or they're just lazy, but it works, so it doesn't really matter. Then they put themselves in an opening and wait for somebody to walk by. When its victim finally passes in front of the poop aiming spot, the spider will lunge down, smearing its poop-covered net all over the unsuspecting prey. And this method of active hunting is only possible because of its ridiculously big eyes. And I didn't realize how terrifying they look until I took some close-up macro photos.
Macro shots indeed. I can't believe that those turned out like that. That is so freaking cool to see. Also, how weird of a face is that? Like, it's so bizarre seeing a spider up that close. And it looks like kind of like an old man, like a wise old man with the eyes, and it's got like a white beard that's coming down here or something. That's what I'm seeing. Interesting, huh? Wonder how many people skipped ahead or clicked off the video right here. If you stayed,
these gigantic compound
legend.
eyes give them insane night vision. They have the equivalent f-stop number of 0.58, which means they can concentrate light more efficiently than a cat or an owl. The reason they are actually able to process light so effectively is because they have a giant light-sensing membrane behind their eyes, which their body destroys and replaces every single day. And this is actually an easy and cheap method you can use to improve the low-light capabilities of your own camera as well. And at the moment, this is the only one I could find in my yard, which is dead in the net of a smaller spider. So I guess you're not so smart now, Mr. Entrepreneur.
Didn't see that
coming.
coming.
I have no idea how this bird gets its name, and I'm not going to look it up. The tawny frogmouth is the absolute master of disguise. Its uniquely shaped head, feathers, and personality means you're never sure whether you're looking at a bird or a log. Its indistinguishable disguise even tricks the same species, who will often get mistaken and try to mate with particularly attractive logs. They've also been known to trick lumberjacks, who will attempt to cut a log, which then flies away. Once the frogmouth has done pretending to be a log during the day, it will turn on its gigantic eyes at night and then begin their search for food. I often see them sitting on top of telegraph poles at night or chilling out right outside my windows, where they will make this kind of strange and calming whooping noise, like they are cheering for me to go to sleep.
Dude, please. I'm trying to sleep. Shut up.
Well, those are bizarre birds, aren't they?
Tawny frogmouths live for around 14 years and form lifelong relationships, typically producing 3 eggs each year. Unlike their relatives, the horny frogmouths, who are known to have massive orgies and live very promiscuous lives. And even though the tawny frogmouth has 2 to 3 babies a year, they still haven't mastered the nest building process and kind of just chuck a few sticks together on some branches without any arrangements and nothing to secure them in place, which means often their babies will just fall out of the nest. So the next time you're walking around outside, double check before you step on any sticks to make sure you're not stepping on a tawny frogmouth baby. Probably Sydney's cutest and most elusive marsupial. I think I might have maybe, possibly Seen one in my yard when it jumped in between these two trees,
These
which is
are
good enough for
something
them
else.
to make the list. Australia has a few species of gliders, which all look incredibly weird. The species that visits my yard is the sugar glider, which is definitely people's favourite, as you Americans and Chinese people are obsessed with stealing them and selling them online for a ridiculous price.
That's
And I
crazy.
strongly urge you not to support the online sale of animals, as they are.
Well, I don't support it because I didn't even know about it. That is funny. That would be a thing, right? That sounds, I guess, par for the course. I guess I should have known that, but wow. I guess I'm just not very well versed in the, what would that be called? Exotic pets or alternative pets? I guess I'm just cat and dog, is like as far as my pet knowledge really goes to.
Always overpriced, and you can get them much cheaper if you buy them directly from me. If you buy a sugar glider from me now, I'm running a special deal where I will chuck in a possum hairbrush for free. So,
Nice
as
deal.
the name implies, sugar
Nice
gliders
deal.
are marsupials that use their giant
They're
scrotum flap
marsupials,
between
yeah.
their legs to glide around. When in the air, they
Look
use
at
their
that.
tail as a rudder, and despite their tiny size, are capable of gliding
Wow.
the length of a football field. But I reckon they could actually fly much further if they just listened to me and tried flapping those scrotum flaps. Then they would definitely smash the world
Isn't
record.
that wild? Look at that.
These gliders like to nest in eucalyptus trees in groups of up to 12, sometimes huddling together to keep warm. And they used to be fairly common in Sydney, but because of land clearing and feral animals, their populations aren't what they
Ooh.
used to be. So I decided to head down to the
Is that what the whole concern about cats is? Because I know over the years, I think I've seen many comments and stuff kind of describing how there's a problem with cats, I believe, right? Messing with certain ecosystems and, animal populations and things in certain parts of Australia. I'm sure someone can fill me in more in depth on that. I know you guys have in the past. I don't retain everything perfectly. I mean, that's a lot to try and cram in here, but that's a shame, right? Like if those are getting wiped out by cats in certain areas.
local creek to see if I could spot a couple.
That's crazy.
And when we arrived, we found something we weren't expecting to find.
Oh my god.
What is that?
He's
An echidna?
I've never seen one in the wild before.
Really? They're such weird looking creatures.
Oh, those are cool, dude.
Oh, so now he's gone into the ground. Look at that.
Spikes.
Look at that.
Yeah,
You could not pick
it is,
that guy
right?
up.
Is he in the ground?
No, he's got his nose sticking out. He's looking at me.
Look at that thing.
Oh my god.
They're so.
Oh, you're so weird looking.
They are. They're kind of
You
cute.
gonna bite
They're
me?
kind of weird too in the face a little bit.
I want to see his face.
It's very cute little face.
He looks like a dick.
Little dick nose. You got a little dick nose, mate. See you later, buddy.
So give him my sunnies.
Oh, that's one way to look at
Nah,
it.
leave him
He's
alone.
dead.
And then when night came around, we began the search for sugar gliders.
All right, so that is what we're hoping to find.
But the only thing I found was lots and lots of spiders.
That is a big, fat, juicy boy.
Damn.
Man, that's a fucking giant huntsman.
Lots
and
indeed.
speaking of spiders, all the other animals on
Jumping
this list
spider?
have been relatively
No, thank
big.
you.
But there is so much life in the garden that I can't see and don't interact with besides when I'm squishing them with my feet. A hidden, beautiful, scary world. And before, this tiny world used to be out of my reach. But now, thanks to this $15 piece of plastic made by a slave in China, I'm able to easily teleport to this macro universe, letting me now see creatures more complex and beautiful than anything a sci-fi writer could come up with. Here's a quick collection of the bugs I managed to snap during an hour of searching in my yard.
Look at that. Holy. Jeez. That is crazy, man. Macro shots on these creatures are just
And out of the
fascinating.
incredible tiny animals in my yard, jumping spiders are probably my favorite. Mostly because
I gotta
they seem
try this.
intelligent. When you interact
In
and
the
take
yard, for
photos
sure.
of most bugs, they kind of just stare right past you with
Look
this
at that.
empty-eyed,
Whoa.
blank NPC look. But not jumping spiders. They actually seem to notice you. They will turn their big, beautiful, furry faces and eyes towards you and kind of rub their face like they're waving hello. No other bug has ever said hello to me.
It did. It literally turned and looked right at him, right at the camera, and did a little wave. That's something you wouldn't believe unless you saw it. How cool.
Jumping spiders have 8 individual eyeballs, which
8?
give them full 360
Jeez.
vision of the world around them. And they use these amazing
You know, I remember hearing about that when I was a kid about something. Maybe it was that. Maybe it was something else. I'm not sure. But I'm trying to think, right? I mean, this is like kid thoughts here, but to be fair, it's pretty interesting to think about. You know, we have 2 eyes, right? And on one hand, it's like, okay, 2 eyes we see every day. It's like we take it for granted, right? Like we're just so used to it. And obviously, if you cover one eye, like it changes, right? The problem is, I can't picture what it would be like having 8 eyes, and especially if it's 360. So, like, how would I see stuff in front of me and behind me? Like, how's that? Right? Isn't that crazy? How do you process that? Now, I'm sure it works perfectly for them because that's what they have. And they're probably thinking that, you know, oh, poor humans, they only have 2 eyes if they're lucky, right? So, I don't know. That would be interesting having 8 eyes. Then again, I would need 8 contacts, and I don't know how glasses would work either. So I suppose it would be horribly expensive and inconvenient for me.
eyes to hunt their prey, stalking them in a planned and intelligent manner. And you know, if you ever feel bored or lonely, I seriously encourage you to just search for bugs. Just do it. Just pick a spot in your yard, sit down, shut up, and I guarantee you, if you stare at one spot in your garden for long enough, you will find some pretty amazing creatures. And the funnest part of all of this, you have
Kind of
no
a fun
idea what
idea.
you're going to see until you take the photo. Like this woman from South Australia who beat me in discovering a new species of jumping spider.
Whoa, go back. Woman discovers a new species of spider in backyard. It's blue with 8 eyes. A new species of Jodis brushed jumping spider was found in Australia. This was October of 2020. Wow, that is fascinating. Look at the eyes, man.
South Australia who beat me in discovering a new species of
How
jumping
cool.
spider right in her front yard.
Can you believe that?
And the number 1 spot on the list goes to the giant fruit bat.
Oh,
Mostly because I
hell
think
nah.
they're very cute and have also received a lot of hate over the last couple of years.
Look, if you think that's cute, more power to you. Right. Everyone's different. Ain't gonna get no hate from me if you have a different opinion. But I'm telling you my opinion. Hell nah, that ain't cute. That thing is freaking terrifying. It's casually staring like right into your soul, for one. While it's hanging upside down. The thing is humongous. Yeah, nah.
Due to their alleged involvement in a slight worldwide plague caused by bat soup, which I think is absolutely ridiculous, as they taste horrible in soup and work much better grilled and then placed in a sandwich.
What are you having?
That seems legit.
What the hell?
Fruit bats are massive, absolutely gigantic.
They're huge.
With a wingspan
Look at
of over
that.
3
Oh
feet.
my God.
That is literally bigger than some of my subscribers. And unlike some of the other bat species out there who look like someone's hit them in the face with a frying pan, these guys actually have a very cute face and are very likable. And like the name implies, fruit bats eat fruit, which is why they occasionally visit my yard as they enjoy eating the berries from this lily-pilly tree or have a little nibble at these lemons. I mostly
Wow.
don't see the fruit bats in my yard and more often hear them. Usually, again, when I'm trying to sleep and will hear screeching or a massive whooshing noise outside my window. But occasionally, when I'm lucky, around sunset, the bat colonies will leave the trees they've been hanging out during the day and fly right over my yard in the hundreds of thousands to go and search for food to eat at night.
Wow.
I also live near one of the biggest bat colonies in Sydney.
So this is in the Sydney area. I don't know, for some reason, I guess I assumed, like, with all the crazy stuff, maybe it was, like, up north, maybe, like, Queensland or something. Nah, this is, like, right in the heart of it, right in New South Wales, right in Sydney, well-populated area, and you got all this going on in the yards? I mean, I'm sure he's far from, like, downtown and stuff, like, this is probably, I would assume, like, inland, part of the giant Sydney metro area. But still, it's not like he's in the middle of the outback or something, right? He's still in a relatively common, whatever that means. Like, he's in one of the big cities. That's what I mean. He's in like a somewhat normal place to live, I think. And just normal by meaning, when you look at the population map, most people live by big cities. You get my drift. Yeah. Wow.
You're all looking at me very
I think that's terrifying. The way that it's saying it there, looking at you,
unsure
like,
of what I am.
that's crazy.
And it's
What a
pretty
unique,
amazing seeing how many.
what a unique creature. I will say that it is pretty, like, kind of terrifying, but kind of majestic at the same time. Wow.
There are, and how they
Look at how
kind of
many there
choose
are
to
there.
hang out together in a social way, kind of like us. And from a distance, there are so many bats that you actually mistake them for leaves on a tree.
Yeah. Yep, I could see that from far away. You might not even know that there's just 200 of those hanging out on a tree if you don't know what you're looking at. Until they do that, of course.
Did I just get poo in my mouth?
I hope not.
Speaking of which, their poo also contains a fungus, which can be very, very deadly when inhaled.
Oh, well, yeah. Don't do that.
Thank you so much.
Well, that was an experience. Holy smokes. Wow, what do I even say about that? Well, I mean, I'll say the stuff I already said. I'll start with that. Very fascinating, interesting, on brand for Australia, 100%. Obviously, very good video, good camera work, funny narration, interesting humor. Yeah, it was enjoyable. And honestly, the title is about as good of a title as you can get. Ranking the weird Aussie animals in my yard. And that's literally what it was. The birds are still kind of the most fascinating to me. That last, of course, fruit bat he showed is, I think, terrifying, but like I said, I respect them. That they're pretty majestic and very unique as well. Of course, I'm not a fan of insects and spiders and stuff, so I don't care for that too much. But I also realize again how unique those are in Australia. They're kind of on another level. Yeah, the birds were fascinating. The first one was interesting too, like this bush turkey. He didn't actually really talk about that a lot, but yeah, that's cool too. It does look like a turkey. It just looks small, because the turkeys we have in northern Illinois are really, really, really tall. Like, they would be on the ground here and their head would still be in the same position. And you guys aren't even looking at this. Yeah, they would be down here, their feet, if you see my cursor down by the grass, and they would still be this tall, if that makes sense. But yeah. So yeah, turkeys are pretty cool, and I know there's obviously tons of variations of those around the world, but I guess this will be a good video for comments. Please comment any of these that are in your yard, possibly, if you would like. Any weird Aussie animals that are in your yard that weren't featured here. And also, I would love to do this. I don't know about this exact video, of course, but just, for curiosity's sake, I would love to go take a look at what I can find in my yard on some afternoon or evening. I think that would be pretty fascinating. We do get bats always around sunset here, but thankfully they're nowhere near as big and frightening as the ones we ended that video with. But they're they're still pretty freaky. They flap around, and it's like, don't land on me, right? I don't want to have to get a rabies shot. Well, with that being said, I appreciate you watching. I guess I'm going to end it there. I guess I don't know what else to say other than that was really cool. Yeah. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. Until next time, y'all. Catch you later.